from a customer. First of all, happy Sunday. I shouldn't be working, but here I am. Um, I got a call from a customer that the um, the AC is not working. Okay, it's not blowing cold air. So that tells me, first of all, that it's probably related to the outdoor unit, probably because it's blowing air, which is the indoor unit, but it's not cold air. So it's related to the outside a lot of times. Okay, so I came out here. Let me flip this around. And shut off the power, of course. Always shut off the power up there. And I noticed that the contactor, which pulls in power to turn on your fan and your compressor outside, it was not pulled in. This is very dangerous, so I'm just showing you. Um, but there's 24 volts. There's 24 volts power that goes through the coil and pulls the coil in on the contactor so that power can be delivered from the breaker to your unit. But that contactor there was not pulled in, okay? So I wanted to check, is there 24 volts or 28 volts coming from the thermostat? So there's this wire down here. This wire is actually going to the thermostat inside, and it carries 28 volts, 24, 28 volts, something like that. Okay, so what I did is I disconnected where that wire was connected here, because I wanted to get farther back and see whether I was getting 28 volts back here or whether it was an issue with the lines here. So I checked the voltage here and I was only getting 14 volts. Now, that voltage is being supplied by a transformer in your attic, okay? So 24 volts is supplied from the air handler, and it supplies 24 volts or 28 volts to the thermostat, as well as it sends 28 volts outside to your condensing unit out here. Well, I wasn't getting 28 volts out here. So I'm thinking, why am I not getting 28 volts? So I know that 28 volts is coming from the transformer in the attic. So I went into the attic and I found a connector, 28 volts, at the transformer. And I had 28 volts at the transformer, which is where the power comes from. So I went and I found a connection upstairs, low voltage connection that was not connected right. So I reconnected those, okay? And then I came back out here to check whether I have 28 volts. So I have my voltage meter here. And now, when I check, I don't know if you guys can see this. When I check for power, hold on a second. I got 28 volts. You hear that beeping? That's my meter saying you got 28 volts. So that's all it was just a little low voltage connection. I corrected that. Now I have 28 volts going out here to the unit. Now I'm going to connect the 28 volts going from the unit, or going from this wire to the unit itself. And that will go to the contactor. And hopefully this baby will turn back on and they'll get cold air. Hopefully that's helpful for you. It's kind of a weird situation, but I think the best takeaway for this situation is that to understand where power is coming from. So power comes from your transformer Your transformer takes 240 volts and it steps it down to 24 volts or 28, you know. So it takes 240 volts at your breaker, steps it down to 24 volts. That 24 volts travels to your thermostat, and 24 volts also travels outside to your condensing unit outside, to your contactor, and your contactor pulls in. When 24 volts goes across the contactor, it pulls in, and 240 volts is waiting at the contactor on one side of the contactor. When the 24 volts pulls in, 240 volts crosses to the other side of the contactor, and that's what powers up your fan and your compressor outside. So if your compressor, which keeps your house cool, is not turning on, sometimes it may be due to the contactor either being faulty, where the coil can go bad, or 24 volts is not traveling to the contactor to pull the contactor in and apply 240 volts to your unit out there. So hopefully that's helpful, at least on a philosophical or theory type of way, so that you understand what's happening. And we're going to do a lot more of these videos, so if that's fuzzy, hopefully it becomes less fuzzy as time goes on. God bless. Y'all have a great Sunday. Bye. Let's see, I shut this thing off. Hold on, we got some messages here. Or the capacitor. Yeah, absolutely. Could be the capacitor. Hill Jack said, or the capacitor. Yeah, the capacitor helps turn on your compressor and your fan outside. So it absolutely could be the capacitor as well. And we have a video that goes into how the capacitor works as well. So you can check that out. There's a lot of videos on changing capacitors. I really didn't want to do a video on changing capacitors because that can get dangerous, and if someone doesn't know what they're doing, they can hurt themselves. So I do have a video that kind of explains what a capacitor is, how it works, but I didn't want to necessarily show you how to change it because it can get dangerous. But anyway, till next time, have a great day. Have a great Sunday. Okay, bye.